Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here, and today we are looking at what would happen if the lottery teams in the NBA made it to the playoffs. Now, I don't mean like a 30-team tournament. This is simply the teams that did not make the playoffs. We put them in the playoffs, so we're gonna see how they do. And of course, there is 14 teams that don't make the playoffs, and of course, there's 16 roster spots. So I did put the 8 seeds of the Houston Rockets and Detroit Pistons on here, because it was a pretty close race. Have you be. So I thought they would be, good additions here too. But yeah, guys, so basically I thought this would be kind of interesting to see who would win out of all these teams, because of course these are the teams that didn't make it. But it will give us a good general idea of what kind of teams are up and coming. Of course, you have teams like the Chicago Bulls, who just kind of underachieved this year, along with the Washington Wizards, who have teams that probably should have made the playoffs anyway. But you also have the Minnesota Timberwolves. You have teams like, I would probably even say like the Milwaukee Bucks, who got Giannis out there, who plays really well. The New York Knicks, who have Melo. The Sacramento Kings have DeMarcus Cousins. So you have a lot of good teams out here with good young talent. Not to say Melo is young, but Kristaps Porzingis, I guess, is. So let's go ahead, guys. We're gonna simulate this season here. Don't mind the records, guys. I did have to mess with the simulation a bit so I can make it so all these teams made it to the playoffs. So don't mind that too much. MVP wise, James Harden actually won the league MVP. Because I put these teams, and I put like a whole bunch of European teams that had no chance at all. Y'all know what I'm saying there. But let's go ahead, guys, simulate the first round of the playoffs here, see who makes it. I don't know, in your guys' opinion, who is the one team in your mind that is the biggest up and coming team? I would probably have to say the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially after getting Tom Thibodeau. That's a huge move, guys, because he's a good defensive coach. They got a good young core of Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine, players like that. And I definitely think that in a few years, they might even be competing, guys, especially if Andrew Wiggins lives up to the hype that everybody says he's going to be. They said he's going to be like the next LeBron James out there. I don't know if he's going to be that, but if he can be half of that, that's still a pretty damn good player. Then Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, I think, in my opinion, overachieved this season. That dude, he's 86 overall now on 2K, putting up insane numbers. Clearly Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. But let's go ahead, guys, simulate first round of the playoffs here. And here we go, simulate current round. And let's just see who makes it. So the Orlando Magic are the first teams off the list. So this is pretty much saying that the Orlando Magic are not great. 76ers, I expected them to be out pretty early too. While the Lakers, with Kobe out there, I guess that makes sense. They had a very horrible season in general anyway. And the New York Knicks, that's actually surprising because, I know some of these teams aren't very good, but still, Melo and Kristaps, you would think out of the lottery teams, they would be able to beat up on those guys at least. And the Timberwolves, who I said was my up-and-coming team, out of the playoffs. Pelicans are out. Brooklyn Nets are out. Denver Nuggets are out. So, making it to the second round, we have the Houston Rockets, Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz, Sacramento Kings, Detroit Pistons, Washington Wizards, Milwaukee Bucks, and Chicago Bulls. Yeah, okay, I would say this seems about right based off the talent of these rosters right now. Yeah, this feels about right. I would like to see a healthy Anthony Davis. I would expect them to go a little bit farther, seeing how they made the playoffs last year with him. But hey, it is what it is, I guess, right? All right, simulate current round. Here we go. The Wizards have been eliminated. The Houston Rockets are the James Harden, man. And Dwight Howard. Come on. The Houston Rockets, you gotta step up your game, man. And the Utah Jazz eliminated, and Milwaukee Bucks have been eliminated too. So bringing it to the conference finals, we have the Sacramento Kings, Phoenix Suns, and the 1-2 spot, Chicago Bulls and Detroit Pistons, who, like I said, the Pistons made it in the 8th spot. Of course, they're probably going to get selected making this video by the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bulls are right there too, though, so either one of those teams could have been that 8th seed. And, of course, Phoenix Suns, kind of surprising to see them there. I guess Eric Bledsoe, Devin Booker, a healthy team like that, it's still pretty good. Devin Booker really put in work this year as a rookie. And then, of course, you got the Sacramento Kings with DeMarcus Cousins, Rajon Rondo, Rudy Gay, players like that, who are all, seasoned veterans, with DeMarcus Cousins, kind of borderline, still a little bit young, and kind of axed up sometimes too. Okay, simulate current round. So the Chicago Bulls they actually got swept by my Detroit Pistons. So we got the Pistons and the Phoenix Suns in this lottery finals right here. I would have to say, guys, watching the Detroit Pistons play against the Cavaliers, this team definitely is upcoming. I think they're one piece away from really being something great. But a lot of people are, I was reading on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people are saying that they're going to be a pretty damn good team next season, especially, after growing up a little bit in the playoffs here. So, watch out for them. And then Phoenix Suns, let me see who's on the roster real quick. If I can, I'll check it all in a second here, guys. Let's go ahead and simulate the playoff series here. And we got, according to 2K, the most up-and-coming team, or I guess the team that should make the playoffs that didn't. In this regard, I guess that's the best way to put it. Of course, it's 2K, so take it with a grain of salt. But the Phoenix Suns won the NBA championship, guys. So let's go ahead here and check out the playoff statistics, see how each of these teams did. Jimmy Buckets out there, 20 points in game. D Rose, Pau Gasol. Yeah, I really think that in general, this was probably the most disappointing team this season, right up there with the Washington Wizards for teams that didn't make the playoffs. But yeah, then we're gonna have these teams up here, so I gotta skip through those. Oh God, there's so many of them. The Utah Jazz, Gordie Hayward, about 25 points a game. So, you look at the Utah Jazz. They got a lot of good young talent too. I really do like Rudy Gobert out there. I think he's a good player. Ronnie Hood, this guy's really learning to shoot the lights out. And Exum, we haven't really seen too much of what he can do. Being injured this season with a torn ACL before the season even started. Sacramento Kings, of course, DeMarcus Cousins. Some would argue to say he's the best center in the league. I think to be the best at something, you can be best skill-wise, but really you got to show the attitude up too. You got to be a leader out there too. And I definitely don't think he's exactly a leader quite yet in this league. We'll see if he can change, but it comes to the point where you just kind of are who you are. And then we got our Karl-Anthony Towns leading the New York Knicks here. Curious to see what the Knicks do this offseason and see what Karl-Anthony does if he decides to waive his no-trade clause, or stick it out with the Knicks. It sounds like he kind of wants to stick it out with this team. But 32 years of age, not the best knees. Yeah, hasn't won a ring yet. You never know. D'Angelo Russell leading the LA Lakers here. It might be a snitch, but at the end of the day, man, he's still a very talented player. And still a good building block for the future of this LA Laker team. Kobe Bryant, enjoy your retirement, my friend. Orlando Magic. This team, I don't know, man. I'm not really a huge Magic fan. I mean, Victor Oladipo's good. Apparently, Evan Fournier is good too, I guess. But I'm not really a big fan of this team. Eric Gordon out there definitely could throw down with the best of them. But curious to see what direction this team takes in the future. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be a hater or nothing. Just not really seeing a lot on this team that I like. And then we got the Brooklyn Nets with Brook Lopez. And this team just kind of a mess in general. I mean, sure, I guess they got, when you got a guy like Brook Lopez, yeah, that's a guy you can build around. But he's not really going to win you playoff games. In my opinion, not as like the first option of a team. And, Bogdanovic, I know this guy really has some good games this season too, so who knows about him. You got the Denver Nuggets, Emmanuel Mudiay. In my opinion, going to be a very good point guard in this league. He's got that athletic factor, which, a guy like Russell Westbrook or John Wall utilizes to the best of their ability. Really makes some good players out there. So, yeah, this team could definitely head in the right direction. And then you got the Pelicans. Anthony Davis, what are you doing, man? 10.8 in the playoffs? Come on, man. You are supposed to be the top power forward in the league, man. I know it was a video game, but you really just had a disappointing season in general, man. You're going to be a great player, no doubt. But, I don't know, it remains to be seen if you're going to be a winner, You can be a great player, but you can also, be a great player and not be a winner. So we'll see how that goes. You got my Detroit Pistons out there with KCP. Definitely, he's definitely really coming into his own in this league. He dunked on LeBron James. That was pretty nice to see. Reggie Jackson, still finding himself out there. Good, talented player. But, we'll see if he can really wear that number one with pride and really lead a team like Chauncey Billups there on this team. Tobias Harris, good young player. Gonna see what he can bring, man. Got to earn that money, that contract that he has. And then Drummond, who is, one of the best centers in the league, but lacks a motor rat sometimes. So we'll see how he does out there. And Houston Rockets, James Harden, Dwight Howard. This team should be in the playoffs. I mean, I guess they are in real life, but they should be higher than the 8th seed. And really, in my opinion, just underachieved. But hey, they're still a good team. Still got good players. And James Harden at 26 years of age, this team can still do things in the future. The Phoenix Suns, Eric Bledsoe, Devin Booker. That's gonna be a nice little backcourt, for years to come here. And then Brandon Knight, of course, a good player himself too. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him on the Pistons, but he definitely has come to this league and done a lot of good things. But got dunked on a lot too, but that's a story for another time. Or you could just, YouTube it and stuff. And then this is the team that I said the biggest up-and-comers, guys. I don't think Rubio was going to be here for the long term. I don't really know what his contract situation is. But really, you look at the big three here of Karl-Anthony Towns, Wiggins, and Levine, and that's where it's at. Even Shabazz Muhammad, this guy's only 23. Still a lot of good things to come from him, too, I believe. And, of course, you got the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal, John Wall. In my opinion, a potential all-star backcourt. Were they on the all-star team? I don't remember, guys. I don't remember. I apologize. But I see these two guys, and then Otto Porter, solid player, but they got some stuff to change up on this team, too. and we'll see how Scott Brooks does on this team, you know, with there being their new coach. And you got the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis, Greg Monroe. A lot of good things from this team. A lot of good young talent out here. Just needs to kind of mold together and really find their identity in the league. And yeah, then back at Chicago Bulls. So kind of a longer video, guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button or like button, whatever it is these days. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.